Another edition of Tech on Ice. Let's get started. We're continuing the series of getting started in tech, how to get started in tech, whatever you want to call it, right? Basically, how do I, start my journey into tech? So to this point, we've talked about picking, starting with thinking about what kind of apps you're interested in building, or what kind of area of technology interests you, and then we talked about, once you've decided that, like what languages best suit you in particular cases. All right, so we've kind of talked to you know, what were we gonna build and how we're gonna build it. Now let's talk about what we need to do to learn that. So let's talk about a little bit about learning journeys. The first thing I want to call out is that everybody's learning journey is different. So regardless of how you like to learn, it's probably a bit different than how other people learn. Like for instance, I like a combination of reading and watching. I know people that they very much only want to read, like books, like tech books, or maybe like technical documentation. That's how they learn. A lot of people want to see people in action. They want to watch videos, whether they're short videos or long videos. That's completely up for debate too. Other people like seeing, learning from people's opinions, like they read blogs, like because people sometimes opinions or like reading how somebody thinks about a particular way of solving a problem it resonates with people. So those are kind of like the different ways, and this is my recommendation for folks that are getting started and maybe they're like, oh, there's all this content out here, there's all these different ways to learn. How do I do that? There's also like learning platforms like Udemy or Pluralsight or Dome Train or any of those sort of like platforms where you can go, and that's like video content usually. So the question becomes like, okay, how do I go about figuring out what way I learn the best? Because that's the real goal, right? It's not it's not like what way of learning or what type of content is going to help me learn it the fastest. It's which one is going to help me learn it the most sustainable way. Because if for instance, if you're like, okay, I'm just going to watch videos, and you find a couple of influencers, or you look at videos from companies and you go about, and then you start to struggle with taking what you're seeing in that video and then turning it into something that you're actually doing yourself. You're doing a lot of pausing the video, typing exactly what that person is typing on the screen, and then following the steps like that, and you're not actually learning anything. That might be to the fact that like, oh, maybe like video content isn't the best way that you learn. Then the flip of that is like docs, right? Like maybe docs are a bit too verbose or dry, or even use a spicier word like boring for you. So I think, let me just talk about my way that I go about learning a new technology. So the first thing that I usually do is I will go to YouTube and I'll watch like I'll try to find a short video, like less than 10 minutes, where somebody like really introduces a particular topic, like containers or Angular or .NET or whatever. Like, tell me why this is cool, right? Because from there, like I'll get an idea of like, okay, like these are the type of things that people want to see when they're building content, or they're learning, or when they're building apps in that particular technology. And like it's just a great introduction, because it also, people passion when they do the introductory stuff, it always shines through. And then after I watch a video like that, I'll go to the docs and I'll walk through like they're getting started, not go through like the Hello World example, which is for folks that are new to tech. Like Hello World is typically like the way that you learn a new technology is by doing like a version of Hello World in that particular technology. I have opinions of that. Maybe we'll have those at a different point in time. And I'll go through like I'll read the getting started experience, like going through like installing the tools and all of that, and then I'll stop before Hello World, and I'll make sure that I understand why I need all of these tools or all these prerequisites to do this particular thing. Because I think what a lot of us do in tech is that we just install a bunch of dependencies or a bunch of tools, and then we just start trying to do stuff. We don't really understand like why we need all these things. Like, why do I need Docker for containers? And that will lead you down different paths of learning. where you might actually have to learn other things in order to learn the thing that you want. And I think that's the best way to go about learning in tech is don't just learn the thing that you're trying to solve. Like learn the tangential things that are around what you want to learn. Because that'll help you have a better foundation of why this is important and why we should be building these sort of things. So here's an example, like a very concrete example. Say you want to build web apps and you want to build web apps in React, right? So you watch a video on React, you're like, okay, cool, like I definitely like React. This is definitely pretty awesome. You go to the React docs. It tells you to install these tools. One of those tools might be, for instance, like an editor, like VS Code. Okay, well, why do I need VS Code? And you do a little bit of investigation as to VS Code being an editor that is polyglot. It allows you to do different things. You're like, okay, so the idea is that React is flexible enough that you can use like a miscellaneous different tools to build in React. That's important to know. So that's just a very, very simple example, right? I think the point that I'm trying to make is like, learn the things around your tech. Don't just learn your tech. So hopefully that's helpful. If you have other opinions and like how to learn properly or how to like your way to learn that works best for you, please feel free to comment down below. I'd love to hear it. And obviously, like as always, like and share. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.